You're watching Through the Looking Glass with Dr. Jenny Klein.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jenny Klein, and I've missed you, so I'm back with a new show for us all. It's about our feelings, fears, and fantasies, our pain and our pleasure, our problems and our solutions. It's a time for us to get together and talk things over, think things over, and find out that we are not alone. Perhaps then we can all help each other make this world and our lives just a little bit better. Did you ever find that you get very desperate when it comes to relationships of many different kinds? Let's take a closer look at just that issue. Hi, Patricia. How are you?
I'm very well, I think. I don't know.
Not
But
sure?
I was going on the computer the other day, and I ran across your website. It was really quite good. I enjoyed looking at it, and it talked a lot about relationships. And it really got me thinking about how I'm so worried about losses. You know, I'm always afraid that someone's not going to like me, that they're not going to,
Why wouldn't they like you?
well, I don't know. But
Not
that's,
good
I
enough,
don't know
or
why they don't
not
like
nice
me.
enough? Or
Well, I don't know. I just feel like
not
I'm not
obedient enough?
going to be the kind of friend that they want. And
Where'd you get that idea? When you're young?
I
or
don't know. I
later in
don't think
life?
I really was thinking about it when I was young. I was just busy working.
No,
Yeah.
I meant when you were a kid.
Kid?
Mm-hmm.
You mean like a little kid?
Yeah,
Oh, I
little
don't
kid.
think I got it from there. I don't know what you mean. I'm sorry. I just felt, you know, I was busy living my life, had a great life. Everything was fine.
Until?
Well, I just feel like, you know, I've been working really hard. Things are going okay at work. You know, I just start worrying about, you know, not getting another client or not that, you know, it's just really worrying me. I can't explain it any better than that. Just always worried that someone's going to find something out about me that they're not going to like, and then they're going to like someone else better, and it's really getting to be a problem. I go out for a luncheon, a business luncheon, and I'm all hyper about who's sitting where, and they're going to sit by them, and they're not going to sit by me, and it really is starting to bother me. I mean, it's like constant every day now.
Do you ever worry about there's something missing in you that's making them behave that way? Did you ever think that when you were a kid or now? Like, what's wrong with me that I don't...
I don't feel like there's anything wrong with me. I mean, I'm okay as a person.
Are you good enough that this worry would go away?
Well, good enough, like in what way?
Well, and, you know...
And I try to be a friend to people.
Yeah, but you know, people have different capacities to respond to you. It's not always something, you know, that you can control. That's why you can feel a little desperate about it, because a lot of times, I mean...
Yeah, I try to be like a really good friend or a good coworker and be nice.
Are there some people who appreciate you?
Well, I have some good friends, I think. But I'm beginning to worry that they're going to, you know, figure out that I'm not really as good as I think I am.
They're going to start agreeing with those doubts within yourself.
Yes.
And those doubts within yourself had an origin. You know, you see this head we have on top of our neck. It has no time in it.
That's
So,
true.
any
Well, why
worry?
now? I mean, just like becoming crazy.
Well, it's, you know, it's something we have never
Excuse me just for a minute.
probably thought about. Something we have never thought about.
God, I
And
got terrible
that's okay.
wet with walking into your office. There was such a downpour.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you don't have to be sorry. You don't have to be sorry.
I'm just sorry for being such a... I feel like I'm going to cry. Just feel so overwhelmed. I'm like, I'm sorry.
It's okay
just
to cry.
because I exist, it seems like.
Did you ever feel that way when you were a kid? I mean, did you ever feel worried about if you're going to have friends in school, or if mom or dad is going to be mad or go away, or anything ever happen?
I was always afraid that I wasn't going to get good enough grades.
To get what?
felt my parents would be really aggravated with me.
Oh, like you wouldn't have a good enough grade, and if you don't get it, they'd be angry with you.
Well, they worked so hard to get us to be able to go to school. You know, they didn't have anything growing up, my parents, nothing. They
well,
lived...
you weren't there then. That wasn't your fault.
Yeah, but I should at least take advantage of everything they're giving me. They gave us so much.
And I'm sure you did very well in school.
Well, if I didn't, they would be really aggravated.
So that because you failed to live up to what you should be, and therefore...
Well, they sacrificed tremendously to let us all go to school.
And you feel guilty
and they
about
worked really
that.
hard, and they had their parents living with them.
Oh my God. So you took on the burden that they had with their children, and you felt you have to live up to their expectations.
Didn't want to disappoint them.
No,
I
because
mean, they didn't have the opportunities that they gave us.
Well, did you ever wish that you could have given those opportunities to them, that you could have made their lives better? Did you ever feel bad that they had a tough life?
I felt terrible.
Did you?
Oh my God.
Like it was your personal failure? You wish you could have been alive then and given them a better life because they always
Well, I wish
talked
that
about
I
how
could,
hard it was?
do really well so that they didn't feel like they had sacrificed for nothing.
Well, in other words, you took a personal responsibility for their difficulties in early life. Like I have to do well.
That's kind of true.
Yeah, it's kind of like, but you weren't alive then,
No, I wasn't. I wasn't there.
so it couldn't possibly have been your failure. You just took it for now. You don't want to give them any more trouble because you want to do really well.
Logically, I guess that's so true.
Yeah, but imagination is different than logic. You wish to make it easier on them by doing well, and sometimes you're afraid that if you don't do well enough, they're going to be angry with you, and so you come to a relationship that's a little problematic because you wonder if you've been good enough.
Yeah, it's like that with people now. It's like, wow, if I don't get that project done just the way they would like it,
Get those grades just the way Mommy and Daddy would want you to.
it's
'cause
very
they sacrifice
similar
so much.
feeling of panic, really.
It's
of fright.
desperation.
I'm really desperate.
Well, desperation because sometimes we have an imaginary I that we should be that'll make everything pay off for all their sacrifice for your parents. And if you got 100 at everything, got all A's, and then they'd feel good, and you do well enough and kind of make up for their bad background.
Right.
Their
Make up
difficult-
for their sacrifice.
for their sacrifice. And so what happens is that if the desperation comes from your imagination, you did perfectly well, but in reality, if you don't live up to that thing you should be to make their sacrifice worthwhile and make them happy, the relationship between them and you is going to suffer because you won't be good enough
Right. Well, they'll be mad.
to achieve this thing, and you're really dumping on yourself for something that was not your
Why
responsibility.
now? I mean, why is this happening
there is no
now?
now in the brain. There's no now.
There's no now.
All
It doesn't
time,
differentiate, you mean,
No.
between now and then?
No, it doesn't.
Wow.
No, because part of your brain doesn't. You and me talking now differentiates, though we can discuss it. But in your unconscious mind, there is no time.
Wow, that's scary.
So
'Cause then I
feel-
can't fix it.
then you're also not guilty. If they're angry for their own reasons. It's not because
To
you
be honest
didn't
with
do
you, my
100%.
parents are not even part of it. I don't even think about them anymore. They're both in a nursing home. I visit them. I feel bad when I don't visit them, though. But they hardly even know we're there anymore.
Right, that's very sad. But you know something? This is between you and you now. It's not a matter of, your parents don't even recognize you anymore, right?
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
I mean, they do
a little.
but it's not like they're asking me how my life is or how the kids are or how anything's
So the
going.
relationship you're desperate about is the one between the self you should be to relieve their to make sure the sacrifice was well spent, and the self you are.
Well, they don't even acknowledge any sacrifices any longer. You know what I'm saying?
No,
they
but-
don't even give me any
No, but the
credit.
the issue is not between getting your parents to be happy with your performance, but getting yourself to be happy with it.
Wow.
That's
That never occurred to me that it's about me.
Well, you sound like a very smart person. What do you do for a living?
Oh, I'm in advertising.
Oh, okay.
Always having to pitch something.
To pitch the best and
Ugh.
the
And
every
I could
prod-
pitch the best idea and
of the
client
worst
will
product.
go, wow,
Right?
that sucks, or they won't like it.
Okay.
No matter
so-
how good it is.
No matter how good you are, your parents won't like it. The customer won't like it. You're
Yeah,
working
it's
for
really bad in this climate with the
And
economy.
no matter how, but on the bottom of that, it's not the customer. It's not even your parents anymore. It's that self you should have been, which is an imaginary 100%, 100% of the time. And if you're not 100% of the time, it hates you. And it lives down into your unconscious mind. And it is
It's like there's never a sense of satisfaction.
with
I feel
100% goal,
anxious
there isn't.
all the time about it.
You know,
I can have a great moment with one client,
yeah.
and then I'm already worried about the next
Who's
one.
who's dumping on you? Come on, you're smart. Who's living in your brain, which was an imaginary 100%?
Well, it
where it's
seems
only
like the
possible-
client's dumping on me, but
Yeah.
you're saying that I'm internalized something.
that you wished up a self that would have made your parents' sacrifice worthwhile, and you had to be perfect.
All the time.
And that perfect self is dumping on you.
Okay, so it's inside of me.
That's right. That's the me that's dumping on you, the human being. And as soon as you please one client terrifically, you're worried about the next one.
Oh my God, it comes up like that.
I know all about it. You know, I didn't learn it in school. I learned it the same way you're going to learn it. And working with someone that I learned this many years ago. And it's still there, but I've become aware, so I talk back. I say,
So this is something I can't get rid of.
no, this is how
I
our
can't
brains
fix
work.
this.
Oh, yes, you can. You
Okay.
can talk back to the one who's making you desperate that someone out there is going to disapprove of you.
I
Because
see.
you didn't do perfect enough.
I see.
What you need to do is to recognize that it's this guy inside your head we're not always aware of. That's,
I never thought about it was me.
well,
It
no.
always seemed like it was coming from outside of me.
Right, and the fact is the only one you can ever have any influence over as to how they respond to you is the one inside your head, because other people have their own structures, and God only knows. You may look like a sister they hated. Who knows?
So how would you get someone to know about the inside if they tell you it's just because
Of you.
of you?
You won't.
So not everybody can understand this?
Everybody who wants to understand it will. Otherwise, they'll project their anger at someone they couldn't be angry at you.
Oh my God.
Or they'll
so
project their
complicated.
own. It is complicated in the beginning. It becomes much simpler the more you listen to your shoulds. Do you ever say, I should have this and I should have that?
Oh yeah, as soon as the client says something stinks, I go, oh, I should have known that. I should have figured that out.
Oh,
I should
see,
have
I'm coming up short.
anticipate that.
I'm coming up short.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
I'm coming up short.
And that's why making the presentations gets even more, I get even more
Desperate.
anxious.
Short
Desperate.
short of what, honey?
I wish I was a mind reader.
Well, then you could satisfy those people out there.
And even if they tell you exactly what you want, what they want, and you give them what you think is the vision, some of them, oh, that's terrible. Oh, that doesn't make any sense. And you know, in the climate we're in now, go from one advertising firm to another because they have the money to spend, and you don't want to lose business. But I can't make something sell that isn't sellable.
Right. they have the power of the money they're paying your agency
That's
or
correct.
you to do the work, and they also have the power of taking their imaginary absolute self and instead of dumping on themselves, dumping on some guy
You
who's working
sometimes
for a
wonder
living.
why people even bother hiring you, really. It's like if you knew what you wanted so clearly and you have such a clear vision, why don't you just do it yourself?
Well, they don't probably have those skills, but then there are people who'd like to dump on others because they don't have all the imaginary 100% skills in the world.
Wow. So
You know,
some of those,
go like
that's
this.
a very good point.
Go like this. Instead of dumping on me for my imaginary
Lack.
self that
Yeah.
would have saved my, gratified my parents' sacrifice and been a perfect girl,
Right.
I shoot you. Some people do that. You shoot yourself.
Wow. That's an interesting concept.
Does it fit what you do?
Well, I'm very hard on myself, if that's what you
Excuse
mean.
me.
I take a lot of
Excuse me.
responsibility.
You said, I'm hard on myself.
Right.
Are those two same people, or isn't that one is beating the other? Isn't that two people? Well,
two-
yeah, it's your
two-
imaginary self of 100% beating your human self because you're not good enough.
Wow. So, if I
Everybody-
was good enough
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
my imaginary self,
Yeah.
then I'd never make a mistake.
No
at work.
problem with relationships at all. They're all going to
But
love
that's
you.
not possible.
No, not at all. They're listening with an entirely different head.
I mean, I don't like
some will be
everybody
nice,
either, to be honest
Some will
with
be nice, and some won't. That's why it's okay not to like certain people. Some clients you work with don't give you a hard
Chest
time, right? Chest pain, which means, I'll never be 100%. I said, that's right, none of us will. And you know what? That's okay.
And sometimes I can't sleep. That's about this too, I guess. The constant, desperate worrying. Worry, worry, worry. I mean,
About
if
what?
I've got a presentation that I think's of a high quality,
Never good enough. Is it going to please them?
yeah.
Is it
that's
going to get me a
always-
good relationship?
Maybe this isn't the right field for me to be in any longer.
Doesn't matter what field you'd be in. If you're an architect, it'd be the same thing.
You think so?
If you had the same brain and you're an architect, no matter what you did, you could build a Frank Lloyd Wright house, and they would
It
find,
wouldn't be good
and
enough.
you'd be worried to death to present it, and it could be the best work you ever did in your life.
Wow.
And then you'd be worried because someone is going to give you a harsh relate to you in a harsh way because they need to dump.
You know, on occasion I've been asked to speak at workshops
Mm-hmm.
because I've garnered some reputation in the field, and
Yeah.
I speak to younger people, and sometimes, you know, up and comings, and sometimes in the audience there's someone, and I can tell they're going to ask me questions that they're hostile in nature. They're negative. They
They're-
want to show that
How
they know
smart
something.
they are and put
Yeah.
you down because you're
Yeah.
up there as a speaker. That's like, I'm going to shoot my daddy down, I'm going to shoot my mommy down, I'm going to shoot anybody down that I didn't have any power over when I was a kid. And I'm a shoot down type person. You can't have a good relationship with a person who needs to shoot you
Right.
instead
it's
of
like,
shoot themselves.
Right. It's kind of like I always used to think about that. So you're saying, let me think for a minute. You're saying if they're angry with themselves, but they don't recognize it,
Most
and they're
people
putting
don't.
it out on me,
Mhm.
but that's what you mean by shooting?
That's right.
Okay.
Very
Then I'm never going to make them happy. They're not going to.
That's right.
So there's not a cordial relationship possible with those people.
No, they need to they need to shoot you no matter what work you do. It doesn't matter because of their own issues. that they
Having
haven't
nothing
looked
to
at.
do.
Having nothing to
me.
do with your greatest fear that you didn't do good enough for all your parents' sacrifice.
Right. Because
If-
these clients, you know, sometimes they'll say things like, "We're paying you a lot of money," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, but
You're getting a lot of
and you're
work.
getting a lot of work and a lot of sweat and a lot of investment for me. It's not, but that's why
But
you
that's
hire
the
me. But they
relation-
use that money thing.
Well, the
There's
money
like
is
no
the power.
respect. Some clients don't have any respect for me.
Well, that's right, because they think money makes them superior. The fact is, their relationship you can have with a person depends on their personality, not the work. Some people will be able to relate to you in a kind and reasonable way. Some people won't, because they need to shoot someone else.
Oh.
You're busy shooting yourself most of the time. And then you worry, what did I do to make them angry with me? Make them unhappy with me?
They don't seem to even care
Honey,
that
it's about
they're
their
hurting
structure.
your feelings or they're being aggressive.
Look, if you went into the jungle and there was a cheetah or a lion there.
Listen, I'm risk avert. I'm not going into this. But in your imagination, I'll join you.
Okay. And there was a lion there.
Yeah.
And you went in there with a nice little candy for them or something to eat. And you put your hand out and they bit your hand off.
Oh, God, give me the shakes. But that's how it feels with
That's how it
clients.
feels like with your clients.
Yeah.
You offer them something, good work, you killed yourself
No.
on it, stayed up all night,
Not good enough.
And they're gonna chop
Very
your hand off.
critical.
But the point is, they're being critical because if they have a chance to shoot someone other than themselves, they, unlike your general nature, will shoot you rather than shoot themselves. You get that? They have a different structure. Okay? They have that too. They don't want to feel it, so they shoot the people they hire.
Wow.
Some people don't do that.
No, some people don't.
No, I grew up in the Catskill Mountains. As Jenny Grossing was a wonderful, wonderful woman. She had a hotel. She said she treated her staff beautifully, thanked them every Saturday night when she got up on stage. It was a very big hotel. And that's because she was kind to people. And that's why she did better than the other hotels, because she didn't shoot people down. She was very kind to them and appreciative of their help, and always thanked her staff. And the staff would do anything for her.
Wow.
So there are people who don't want to do what you do, and they do this, and they never solve their own problem.
Well, I guess they're solving their problem by shooting everybody.
No, they're not, because that's a problem for the people they shoot. The problem for them is the unexplored imaginary 100% that's shooting them,
I see.
that they don't want to feel, and so they shoot you. You get it? So if you're the one who's doing it to yourself, you have power over that. But if someone else is doing that, you have no power over that. That's about them. It's not about it's not about your failing to be the girl who provides everything and not disappoint your parents.
Wow.
You see?
So my parents wanted me to be successful,
Yeah.
and I misinterpreted their annoyance.
Well, you went to an extreme of, I have to do everything perfectly.
I see.
In your imagination, if I did everything perfectly,
Then they would never
I
be
would-
upset.
then they'd never be upset with you.
And they may have been upset about other things.
Yeah.
I guess I took it pretty personally.
But no matter how well you did, and I'm sure you worked hard and did
I did
very
work
well,
hard.
no matter how much you did, if you got all A's and one B in your entire high school, then they would, oh, look at the B. And maybe
Well, they were always saying, how can one improve? How can one improve? There was always a sense of you could do something better. And
Right.
I think one can do something better, but at some point you have to be able to present a project and collaborate
Yeah,
and figure out how
the
to
best you
fine-tune
can.
it. And then you have to move forward.
and better
It's
is a matter
like
of experience.
excellence is
Yeah.
good, but perfection
It's
is
impossible.
nice. But if it's not possible, then you're always doing something that's
Wrong.
not possible.
And then you're always hating yourself and putting yourself down. And you're best victim in the world for someone who would rather avoid their self-hate, never
I
solve
always
it,
get the
never solve
clients.
it, but to put you down.
that's what the I'm a partner in the firm, and my one partner always says, "This one's very difficult coming. This is a difficult client coming. You get them." And I'm like, thanks a lot. I get the ones that I know are going to be difficult from the beginning.
Because they know you're going to work your butt off. Wow. And they know you're going to you're going to work around the clock and on the weekends just to make sure. That's not just because of the client or the business.
I used to think
that's
it was a compliment. Oh, goody, I'm going to get the difficult ones. Now I'm like, can't we share?
Well, they believe you can do 100% and change the person who has to relate in a hostile way.
Wow. How much more time do we have?
Not much more. But we can see you next week.
All right.
Okay?
Do you think this is going to take a long time?
Took a long time to get here.
Oh my God. Can't even believe it.
But your mind it's in the right direction. Because if you spend a long time preserving 100% you can't reach, then you get nowhere.
Oh, that's true.
Okay.
That's a positive spin. Thanks a lot for that.
You're very welcome. We'll see you next week.
Okay.
Pleasure working with you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, now I just want to say that was not Patricia at all. That was Susan Friedman. And you play that role because you're such an excellent therapist in Bridgewater,
yes.
Right? I want to thank you again for
welcome,
the
Dr.
many
Klein.
shows you've done. Thank you so much. That was wonderful one. Wonderful.
And
Thank
your
you.
website is really good.
Oh, yeah, drginny.com, right?
Yeah.
I promised my camera guy, Kaz Beelan, that
Dr.
I would
Ginny
remember
Klein.
that.
Dr. Ginny Klein, I think I saw it at.
Yeah. .com, right? Yeah. Okay, that's my website. Thanks a lot for reminding me. Thanks, Susan Friedman.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much for that wonderful role.
Thank you, Dr.
Okay, I
Klein.
want to thank you for watching and saying hello when you bop around town. If you have an idea for a show, give me a call, and I'll be very happy to speak with you. It's all on the screen. For now, you just be really good to yourself and just keep watching Through the Looking Glass. Bye-bye.
Dr. Jenny Klein would love to hear from you. Email her, jennyklein@gmail.com, or give her a call at 908-722-2933. If you'd like to see more, feel free, just go to drjennyklein.com.